Hey, welcome everybody to Open Mic on the Battle Pirates Crib. The link is in the right-hand side in case you'd like to join the show. And we're going to talk a little bit about the bacon event, the refactor, and all the resources we appear to need to get at this point in time. But let me go ahead and introduce everybody from left to right. Watchman. Okay. Maybe having technical difficulties, but Dr. Death?
Hello.
Two Doors?
Nah.
And Ben?
Hello, everyone. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
And this is Hefe. So what should we talk about first? We talk about bacon? That's probably the easiest one. It's
You mean Raid 2.0?
yeah, well, yeah, they're not even really hiding that it's a raid at this point with the screens that they're using. Yeah, it's definitely a raid. It's odd the way that they, decide to drop it on us on a holiday weekend along with OP 11.5 and the refactor and all these other things. And we still have our FM. So they've actually turned it into one of the busiest weeks that I can imagine. They didn't put any TLCs out, but
And we're hitting raid targets for raid damage without getting half repair.
Yeah, but we're getting a lot of points relative to it. I mean, it's sort of really depends on how you want to look at it.
No.
Okay.
See.
You
Let
have
me.
three targets. You get the big prize, and you get one of the weapons. You hit another set, you got another one, and you got the second weapon. It's not. You don't have to hit that many targets unless you're really a completionist.
Okay, hang on, but let's backtrack. Okay, so 4 or 5 targets, you win all the prizes you want. Well, 5 targets banks you all the new tech, all 3 of the hulls plus all the new tech, 140,000. You get 150,000 for 5 targets, and that's fine, right? Okay, but in a raid, I generally only am hitting what? If I want to get just the top prizes, not claim any of the tokens or anything else, I'm generally, because of the 10 million points per target, I'm generally only hitting 7 or 8 targets.
Okay.
And but it's costing me way more to do the bacon event than what it ever does to do the race.
I mean, I don't know. Personally, I'm not finding it. The only part of it I'm finding overwhelming is, to be honest, at this point in time, is the amount of resources that we're asked to gather in order to.
I think that was part of their plan, because they knew everybody would whine about resources, and then they wouldn't, if they ran it in conjunction with these other events, people wouldn't be whining about their repair costs. Because if we didn't have OP 11.5 and if we didn't have refactor drop this week, people would be screaming about the damage they're taking on their ships.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about that. I'm taking significantly more damage on the 100 than I would during the raid. But I'm still taking like right at about an hour using the bat rays. I'm taking a little over an hour with the Razer Tails and the 102 because I'm not. That's the first time I've ever had Razer Tails, so I'm getting used to it. But what I'm saying is, it's not. I don't think it's. I don't have a problem with the structure itself. It's when it's combined with everything else. Because he'll go and hit a ton of targets with one ship, let it repair overnight, then go hit with another ship, let it repair overnight. I mean, the one thing is that you need to have. Probably one of the things that I have is I have the tech already on my ships from the Halloween event, the Flying Dutchman, with the antis from those, which helps even out the damage distribution from these.
Now, wait a second, though, because I haven't actually even looked to test this, but aren't the targets locked to tiers to hull specific?
Yes. And
Tier
that's
specific.
So then the whole theory of only 5 targets only is going to work for the top end of the game. 5 sets is only going to work for the top end of the game because only the top end of the game is going to have all the fleets with all the top tech.
Yeah. Well,
Now imagine how long it's going to take someone that can only hit. So say you got somebody that's only got mana cores and either just the bat ray or the Razer Tail, didn't build both fleets, or don't have both fleets done. Okay, now they can't get that 15,000 point bonus on the target. So now look at how long it's going to take for them to get the top to make that 140,000. If you can't hit if you don't have Razer Tails, you can't hit a 102.
yeah.
It's tier one.
You can hit it's the 102 and the 100 are locked to tier 7 skirmish hulls. You could hit them with either a Razer Tail or a bat ray.
Yep. So it's the 90 that's locked to just one hole.
Yeah, because we only had one tier 7 assault hull, which was the mana core. People built them 2 different ways, with scatter guns or with missiles, but there was only one hull that was put out at that point. That's when they did that experiment.
You've had about 7 months to build manticores now, so.
Yeah, and they've given you about 1.5 zillion tokens to do it.
Oh, like I said, I hadn't checked it, but people have been telling me that they were locked. That's why I asked you guys before I started if each target was locked.
They are locked, but they're locked to class and tier, not to a particular hull.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Serpent Soul is asking if you don't have either bats or razors. Yeah, the points distribution is a little off as far as the step down from the tier 8 down to the tier 6. They did do some things to fix that, but I mean the main prizes are main expensive prizes are tier 8 technology, but I do agree that the divide between tier 8 and tier 6 as far as points payout is too large.
They did up it a little bit, didn't they? You know, I did see a post.
Well, not enough. Not enough when they consider that this whole event is being espoused as an event to help people catch up, which is why it's got all of the base tech and tier 7 tech in it.
I kind of thinking they're expecting with the buy gold thing they've thrown out there, the reduction, and the fact that most people should have manticores now, that they're going to do the speed up and then just get what they need. I'm just trying to think of the name of it. Hang on. What's it when you hit a target and you can like
blitz?
100. Yeah, blitz. Sorry, yeah, my mind was going. Yeah. I just took a business call and I lost the thread for a second. Yeah, so I mean, virtually one blitz and you know you've got the whole weapon and special, you know, whole and 2 weapons or whatever. So I know not everybody's going to do that.
You do the blitz. You do the blitz times 21 time for 150 gold. It will not get you the whole weapon and specials all, because that only gives you 100,000.
What?
I haven't blitzed it, so I haven't looked at those numbers.
Three holes, and 2 weapons is 80,000.
Right, but then if you want the Omega gun, that's 60,000.
Oh, and the Omega, yeah, that won't do it.
Yeah, I mean, you could try and grind them out for the rest of the days or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe that's their logic. Because at the end of the day, we know they want you to spend money, you know.
Even when they fuck up, they want us to spend money. Even when they have to rebalance an entire tier, then introduce a next tier, which by the fucking way. So they introduced the next tier of technology, and this isn't actually a bounty. And in a bounty, the store is locked until the end of the event, but here it's not. So and I'm sure many other people, I got hit by the new ship, 2X, fully kitted out, with some other stuff, Thursday morning. So instead of getting a 70% reduction on whatever the hell, I had to repair my turrets for, you know, the last 10 hours of the thing. Good fucking job, Kicks.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, yeah, because before this came out, I was suggesting that they give out some amount of, like, bubble tokens. But I'm wondering if they're going to reevaluate it based on the participation that people had in this 70% off, because I think it was probably lower than they forecasted due to things like that and everything else that was going on, and the ability to actually gather the resources to do that. So my hope is they'll take a look at the numbers and they'll introduce another one of these 2-day resource reduction dealios.
Fortunately, I was full of res before the 48 hours started. I managed to use it all up, and then when I did get hit by 3 of the Breacher dreadnoughts, I was so low on res, he didn't get much out of me, So if it was a res hit, that was a complete waste of time in my base because I just spent it all. So,
and I feel like that's a weird side effect that they just weren't planning for. I was mostly full, and then I built one of the new hulls, and I switched I didn't even switch all my turrets. I switched most of them, and I had one left to upgrade. And then I scrapped 2 whole fleets of ships, and I've been collecting res, just as the event's been going. And I still don't have near enough for the Omega gun. That's 900 million of every resource. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's outrageous.
What the fuck is that bullshit? It's tier 7.
Yeah, I'll put that on.
And I'm trying to, but you can't. I think they threw in the 80 million res packs in the Bacon event just as an afterthought. We're not actually going to address this. You have to go grind more if you want this.
The 80 million res packs are just a band-aid so they can enjoy their weekend, as far as I'm concerned.
They can say they did something about it.
Yeah.
And for 2 months,
it's a temporary influx.
You can also buy 100,000 titanium for 10 gold, so
there's another interesting special out there, or time limited offer, which is the 300 for the shipyard, 300 gold for the shipyard, which is going to be interesting. And it makes me really think that we had a pop up at the beginning of this. The Bacon event that was advertising the base Race TLC, which has a lot of build tokens in it and turret upgrade tokens to get your shipyard done. That wouldn't surprise me if we see that next week.
After everyone's spent their money, yeah, or their gold.
Well, I was looking at it from 2 ways. It's a lot of times you see the really good, something that looks like a really good sale. And then it's you can get it through a TLC the following week.
Yeah,
that's a pretty predictable pattern. But if you also think about it from, okay, you spend 300 gold to get that, and then you can use those on turrets and turret upgrades and other things.
Yeah, I've got the gold to do that. So I'm still debating whether I want to use 300 gold to do that. I don't know. Whether it's the benefits I get from it are that great,
Well, if you have Razer Tails, it really helps your Razer Tail builds. Because you get the 15% reduction on the needlers and the nailheads. So now you have a lot more ability to put together different builds that you couldn't with Shipyard 5.
Ooh, woohoo! I can refit again. But I'll give you a sign.
But if they give you a lot of tokens. They give you the ability to get a lot of free tokens.
Yeah.
So probably it's easier in the raid because some of those TLCs you had to do with the mana cores were not not the best. I don't think they were well balanced. There was too much damage in them, especially if you did not already have the technology, because you had to go through 3 levels and probably a whole day worth of repairs before you even got to what you wanted.
Yeah, I built both Menti fleets, and I've got the full Razer Tail fleet with all the specials on it, and I've got the full Bat Ray fleet with all the Flying Dutchman specials on the flagships. So, you know, most is done now, I suppose. With the upgrade to the shipyard, I suppose it would allow me, as you said, to do a little refit on things, but it depends. I mean, currently we're doing this raid with no half repair. So, will the next raid be a lot less damaging, or are they going to up? You know, are we going to see the damage increase in the raid?
Normally, when they have a static target like the 100 and the 102, they don't change the damage until Friday.
Yeah, are we going to see a 102
like in the raid to make those sort of?
Yeah, are we going to see a 104 and a 106 or something come out? You know, for the last.
You know we are.
I think we saw that last one. Whether we're going to see the 108 and the 110,
something like that. Yeah.
We'll see new targets so they can increase the difficulty.
We'll probably see a 108, 110, or whatever, and they'll do away with the 100 and 102.
That's not what they did previously. They kept all three sets. They just dropped they just changed the shard drops and the completion bonuses is what they were doing previously. So I hope they don't drop the 100 and 102, and they just run all three. At least that's what they've been doing historically. And only the most recent two have the completion bonus associated with it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that scares me about this upcoming raid is with the targets, if they're going to lock them like they did in Bacon. That would be absolutely horrendous of them to do. You know, where you can only hit the tier 8 targets with the Bat Ray and Razer.
They've been doing that the whole.
That's always been that way.
Yeah.
No, we've got a few KDs owners in our alliance, and they've not been able to use their KDs because they're getting. It's not targeting the drones; it's just targeting the fleet first. You know, so
the 80s are unlocked, but the S sets or whatever the tier 7s or whatever, those are locked to basically the tier 7 skirmish, so you can't bring anything else into them.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like the 70 and 80 in Bacon, you cannot use the Bat Rays or Razors on. It won't let you.
Okay, yeah. I don't know that they will see that. I think they were just trying to prevent people from going in and autoing stuff because they're so much more powerful. Maybe it's a new trend, but I would doubt it.
Yeah, I mean the no flagships with the Bat Ray and stuff like that. It'd be so powerful in the next level down, even though you'd have to grind a bit. If they was to change the tier 80s to make it a challenge to that fleet, anyone that didn't have them would get nothing. You know what I mean? They'd get destroyed in the tier 80s. You know, so I don't know. It's difficult one to balance out, that one, isn't it, for them? Because they've now made the Razer Tails and the Bat Rays that much more powerful against anything else that's hitting.
Hey, Raptor. Hey, Aaron. How are you two doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad.
Glad to hear it. Are you guys, I just wanted, since you guys have been here, bringing me in, how has your bacon experience been?
Just cooking up the bacon. It's good.
Very good.
Well, I've only had internet back here for the last 2 days, so I'm only just getting into it.
Okay.
But I'm mostly finding the Skyfires aren't doing too badly in the 70s, but yeah, the 80s are a little bit tough for the fleets I've got. So
yeah, I did hit a because I got shorted on a 90. I did hit one with, I don't know if I drove it properly, but you can send prototypes into the 80 prototype seekers, and I took 1 more damage than I thought I would. it took like it was like 28 minutes, which I thought with the prototypes I'd be able to just walk it, but I may not have driven it properly because I just wanted to round up.
Was that for a set or for?
No, it's just the
No,
180.
it's just one target.
Okay.
I tried my hunters and they didn't even scratch them.
Didn't scratch the 80?
Yeah, no, they weren't too good in there at all.
Huh. That's surprising because that's the recommended haul. So yeah, I'm surprised to hear that.
Well, they recommend the faintest for these current skirmish raids and their shit. So
Yeah. I had an Alliance member take his fangs in to an 80, which a great build for his fangs, and they just melted.
Yeah, I haven't tried the fangs. That's too. Yeah, it says use 100 MK1s or fang tooths. Yeah, it is sad that I thought I was disappointed with the Tide Seekers taking a half an hour damage, but I guess if the hunters of the fang tooths can't even complete the target, that's a whole different situation. So,
guess I won't try that.
Yes, because those give you 5,000 each. And as far as prizes go, that I guess it does line people up to get like some of the. If you get 3 of them, you can get a tier 7 turret, or I guess some of the specials. 5,000 at a shot doesn't sound like it's going to get you any.
No.
I mean, 5,000 at a shot, you could get the new haul. But it's at 20, but it would be a bit of a grind.
I just think if they're gonna have the damage that they have in here, I mean, it should have been half repair. If it's not half repair, then they probably should be considering lowering the damage down a bit to make it cost effective, affordable, whatever you want to call it for your middle to low level players.
Yeah, it does make sense. I mean, CM Chris did make a post about how they went through and they basically doubled the points across the board for everything to make things less expensive points wise. And I don't know. If people are having a hard time completing the targets, then it seems that the damage is with the intended haul that the damage is too high. And even increasing the price of the amount of points that you get doesn't really seem to fix that problem if you can't complete it.
For people that just have bat razor kills, it's like it's all I've been doing is 100, so it's a grind.
Have they not back raised out of the track resource spaces, subsets resource spaces?
nope. And thank God.
Okay.
The subsector resource bases are just broken.
Yeah. I mean, we're at orange, and
that's some sort of bug that's involved with this stuff, and I wouldn't expect it finished before the end of the
Oh, happy days.
Raids, they're all,
Okay, no, I've been editing for the last couple of days and working, so I obviously missed a couple of bits. Oh, lovely. I just rolled my cruiser away. I thought I'll just pop out and get some more with my bat race. And okay, yeah, working as intended.
So are they? What? So is this what Kickseye said? Is that it's a bug?
I asked the question on Discord, and they're like, "What? That the SSRBs aren't working?" Yeah. I'm assuming it's a bug. I mean, Templar mentioned that's a noted issue. Just expect to have it fixed because they're all on vacation at this point. They're all on holiday. So
yeah, but we're not.
Well, hey, I'm gonna put on my tinfoil hat and just throw this out there. I'll be seriously pissed off if those targets come back and they've made adjustments in it to adjust for the bat race hitting them.
Yeah, but you can imagine that they're between the sector, they're running a raid and they're keeping everything open. That they don't always catch everything. So yeah, I mean that could be the case, but
well, that was the only bloody thing I wanted open, really.
yeah. They all show locked when you try to.
Well, we've seen, like with the FM targets, as we've seen in the past, if we get a target down to where we can do it for 0 damage, because I don't like that anymore.
It gets rebalanced.
Yeah, it gets rebalanced. And that's what my first thought was when I couldn't hit the SSRB, was that they're rebalancing this target.
Oh, yeah.
Well, with the FM example, as you might recall, they said that they were going to, this was the first stage, and then they were going to increase the damage on the FM. So it wasn't, they pre-announced that. It just wasn't at all what we expected it to be. It was way more punitive than we really expected it to be. They haven't told us anything like that previously. I mean, yeah, if they do it, it's, whatever, but I'm just saying previously they had announced it prior. So, yeah, who knows what they're going to do. I mean, I have no idea, but.
I think it would be hilarious if they update this corner, but they've said as much that they're going to let the SSRBs die. Like, it's just not worth it for them. So, oh yeah, this is completely useless, but oh no, you don't get to, God stomp all over this. We've got the daily uranium campaign.
But we need stuff like that. We need to be able to get stuff quickly because we've been complaining about the chores, and this isn't a chore if you've got the fleet to do it.
Yeah, I mean, with all the
this is players were happy with this, yeah, because we can get stuff for free anyway, yeah, but it just takes us longer, and then it becomes a chore. That's what we've been moaning about, So if they take that away and then turn it back into a bloody chore again, then what is their point? Because I'm not going to pay for it anyway.
There is no.
Yeah, but you may not pay for it. I may not pay for it, but I guarantee there are people out there paying for it. Yeah. Just like I'll never pay for the FM, but there's people out there that do every single week.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody's paying for this bacon raid.
Nobody.
Oh, whatever.
I did. I hit a few at the beginning on the first day that allowed me to then jump back in to do some bloody work and earn real money.
I'm talking about the people with like 7 million or 6 million on the leaderboard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got no idea what
the heck, Nick, are they even buying it? What is left for them to buy?
They want those ship build tokens.
That's stupid.
Yeah, 60 days worth of ship build tokens is probably less than.
If you take a look at the players that are in the top of the leaderboard, and then you go turn around and take a look at the alliances that are in the top, you're going to see there's a conjunction going on there. So there's going to be some players that are going to have a lot more than just 60 tokens.
Yeah.
But the point is I mean, what the number. Probably the first 3 or 4 on the leaderboard and what they've spent, they could have just coined the fleet anyway.
Yeah.
It
would have been cheaper just to coin the fleet.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make. It's probably worth 60 build days of build.
They're paying for the right to say they're the best.
Which is fine with me.
I mean, if they hate money so much, I mean, I could set up a Patreon or something.
There we go. GoFundMe page, so two doors could get larger headphones.
You can actually afford damn rent in California. I mean, what?
Yes, the rent is too high.
That was your first mistake, Brian.
I didn't use this shit.
But
hang on, you're in California. You still got legs. You can run a cable straight to their offices. I live 6,000 miles away.
Oh, to Kixeye? Yeah, it's like a day trip if I wanted to go and visit them, but that assumes I want to go and visit them.
Yeah, and then there's also the order, the issue of the restraining order, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah. No trespass.
So, all right, I think we've done a lot on the bacon thing. What do people think about? I mean, well, first of all, I want to, because I said to Chris at one point, like, I don't think that everybody knew the refactor was happening because there wasn't anything in the game.
You like it.
And Raptor's like, look, I got all these tokens. I'm rich, right?
No.
Do you know the refactor happened or not?
No.
But both of these things could be true.
Yes. Well,
I knew the refactor was happening. I saw all these tokens like, holy shit. All right, let's go, boys.
And I'm like, well, you're not really rich. They've hit us in the game. So I was like, I told him, I'm like, I don't think everybody knows, because the only place that you can figure that out is like reading the forums or going to pretty much reading the forums or watching the shows or whatnot, that the refactor was going to happen. There's really no in-game announcements about this 70% reduction.
Obviously, we posted it all over
tokens or anything like that. Like,
we posted it all over Alliance pages, but I mean, not everyone's in the Alliance, and some guys don't get on the forums, So, yeah, there were some people still taken by surprise,
I mean, to be fair,
there's definitely been a pop-up for that.
Yeah, there could have been 2 giant full-screen pop-ups saying, "Here comes the refactor. This warn you," and then a short description of what it is. Even if there were 2 full-screen pop-ups every time you loaded the game, people would still just be like, "The fuck is this shit?"
Click past
it. It would be a lot fewer than actually did that in practice. I mean, you can't reach everyone except with like trepanation, like legit drilling into someone's skull and putting the information in there. But yeah, this should have been a pop-up in the game for the past, ever since the refactor started to be discussed like 2 months ago. There should have been a pop-up, and you should say like, "Oh, don't show this again," and click away and turn it off, so you don't have to see that every time. But once a date got announced, it should have been brought back up and said, "The refactor you've all been hearing about is coming November, whatever," and then obviously revised once the date got changed. But they really needed to have just put this in the game. It's not hard. They do it for all the FMs and Raid and all the bullshit TLCs that nobody cares about anymore. You could have done this for what is probably the biggest change to the game this year, if not multiple years, since the actual PvE PvP split itself. Come on, guys. Put some effort in.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of a weird place to talk about it on the show as far as not reaching out to enough people as far as the refactor goes. Because the people that watch the show, they're reading a lot of stuff and they're taking information in from multiple sources. But the stuff I've seen in comms and elsewhere, it's the refactor was brand new to a lot of people, as was the sector consolidation. And they put more news up about the sector consolidation. But you're still like, I was in sector, whatever. Now I'm in this sector. What happened?
I had a guy in comms today. He goes, Sector 73. Here the other day.
Not anymore, buddy.
You are now, and boy, it's a lot changed since you moved.
Some nights I'll see some of the posts on these pages like, "I just got back into the game. Sector consolidation. The fuck is this refactor? The fuck is this XYZ?" And some nights I want to just say, "Hey, buddy, you know what? Turn around and walk away. Everything is gonna be fine. You can spend your time and money somewhere else. You're probably gonna have more fun.
Do a lot better off anyway."
Yeah, but some of the stuff I see, it's just like, to say nothing of some of the regulars, but like some of the people just like, "I just came back in. There's a refactor. What changed? Everything.
Yeah.
Everything changed. Could you handle it last time? Not really.
No.
Then you probably can't handle it this time because it's way weirder." I mean, I spent my entire break on Tuesday morning, one of my work breaks, looking through all the stuff, and I still didn't grasp anything near all of it. Like, I had the wrong deflections memorized for the tier 7 hulls. I forgot that the tier 7 weapons, like, they still had deflections, but the new ones didn't necessarily. I was trying to, like, read through it all. At the end, it was just like 15 minutes straight of just looking at all that. I'm like, you know what? This is bullshit. I'm just going to wait. I am going to go and log on the game and see, like, just look at the holes and see what this all means in practice. Because seeing all those numbers is all well and good, except for the shadiest shit where they put the build time down 70%, even though that's only going to be active for 24 hours. You fucking crooks. Like, yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, Kickstarter, you're on notice. Get wrecked. And some of the people in the forum noticed it too, obviously. But just stuff like that. And it's just so much information that we all had to make sense of so quickly. And even the tokens are gone in 2 weeks. Like, there's going to be a meta that evolves, so people have their crappy breacher ships, and then they get better at building a breacher, and then we have to switch up our deflection and our turret types and this and that. And those tokens are going to be gone by then. I guarantee it. It's just, even the amount of time that we have the tokens, I don't think is going to be enough time for people to get settled, especially not with the additional updates that we're getting. A third portal, we're getting portal level 3, we're getting, I mean, personally, I never got the hoplite wall, but I could. I don't think I want to anymore, but I could. And just all this stuff, you can't put it in your base fast enough. Even with base parts, you just can't. And all of this stuff is just being thrown at us at the end of the year. Well, no, almost at the end of the year. And I feel like they're going to do something like doubling down on the bullshit on Christmas weekend, which is the 22nd and whatever. It's like just before that. But it feels like this should have, if this was in December, I'd have called it complete and utter quackery for, we have to make end of year financials and we have to hope everyone playing our game is a bunch of idiots that will coin anything that we ask them to. Like, that's what this is a month early.
I
They're trying to make
a tier 8 defender.
Tier 8 defender? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, but that's going to be good. And by that point, we'll have it established and we'll know. And, you know, I'm really hesitant on refitting my tier 7 defenders. I even have a Vanquisher and a Hope still in there for some reason. Because it's just like, we're going to get a tier 8 defender and it's probably going to be in Bounty because Bounty's going to be like a shit show.
Probably.
Oh, it's going to be the fucking worst.
Everyone's going to have.
Since we're talking about Refactor, I want to throw a little thing out there for anybody paying attention that may not have noticed this. But if you're in an alliance, they did not change the defender's defense bonus, so it's not valid at all right now in game.
Oh, you get resistances, except those don't matter.
Exactly.
Oh no!
They didn't switch it to deflection.
Oh no!
So just, you still get the turret reload, but you don't get the defense.
Well, fucking man.
Yeah, we've got everything maxed out. Actually, you know, our bonuses and everything. So,
well, a lot of alliances try and max out their bonuses, and that's why I was throwing that tidbit out in case that people hadn't caught it. You don't get that defense bonus right now from the defenders tab on your alliance because they didn't fix it.
I think I have some relevant math to share with the squad in the chat. Once Tefe gets back, he can lock on to me. I've been trying to figure out effective deflections. I've mocked up a build of each of the 6 basic turret types, trying to maximize damage. And it's not perfect. I'm not technically sure how, like, you get 1 fire support, only 1 now. And you get like a penetrative, whatever the new thing is, or you get fuel air munitions, let's say. Oh, it gives more to crit chance. Oh, that's so shit now. And I don't know how those stack, so I just assumed it was additive. If it's multiplicative, it's going to be a little different, but hopefully not too much. But but I tried to. Let me see if I can at least show you guys. Oh, good. Hefe, you back?
Yeah.
Can you put me on present in just a sec? I want to make sure.
Okay.
Share my entire screen, whatever. What I'm hoping you're seeing right now is a giant Excel table.
Yeah.
Is what you're seeing right now a giant Excel table, if I did it right.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Or
So
it's
this
your
is what
navel.
I've been
I'm not
doing for the
sure which
past.
one it is, but go ahead.
Sorry?
I said, or it's your navel. I'm not sure, but go ahead.
This is what I've been doing for the past hour or so. I've been looking through all the tier 7 turrets that I could remember, and I've been trying to. I made a basic build on each of them, and I tried to maximize their damage with one special, usually, because that's how it goes, except for penetrative. And so tried to put in some damage. I assumed an AT transformer, bonus from faction, bonus from fire support, and with the fuel air munitions and the penetrative new thing, I assumed it was additive, even though it probably isn't, because we don't know that. Maximize group bonuses, obviously. Oh, son of a whore! I didn't do it for pen. What the fuck? Okay, so that needs to be changed. For all the good that does. At the bottom here, I've got what they're expected to be. And again, I think I just messed up the penetrative, so it's probably fine. You can see down here.
One thing, Bright, I would emphasize the high points and say them out loud, because I think a lot of people, unless they have really big screens, are having a
Yeah, they
hard
probably
time.
can't see it.
Yeah.
I'll just read them.
I can see it. That's on my little 27-inch screen. I can see it.
Okay.
So, really, the long-range turrets are basically all garbage. That is the Javelin 2, the Halo 2, the Mortar. Even with the critical, it's truly bad. The Aftermath launcher, the Death Scythe, and the Axiom. I put low beside some of them if they were low enough, which probably should go here too. The Blunderbuss 2, you need about 90,000, a little more. The Howie 6, you need about 50,000, and this is ballistic deflection. The Executioner 2 is 140,000. I feel that's really high, but you can add multiple pen damage specials on. The Rocket I found to be 200,000. The Cold Snap 104-ish. The Phlogiston Launcher 150,000. Again, maximizing damage. The Shockwave is a little different. I forget if turret defense affects it, but that's going to be more than this, I think. The Pyroclastic Launcher, the medium range is about 80,000 radio deflection that you need. The Corrosive is a little interesting. The Scatter is about 150,000. That's the short range. The Death Scythe, you get more damage from the shot that you do the dot. The Cryo, you need about 80,000 for the shots. But as I understand, the dot, if the tick rate stayed the same, it's 2.5 times the tick rate. So you need 100,000 deflection because that's affected by turret defense. The depth charge is 137,000 concussive. The UAV is 72,000 concussive. If something had a secondary damage type, I did not include it, probably because you're going to get there anyway. When it's halved and then decreased, it's effectively 0, especially on holes with, 4 million armor, taking 1,000, 2,000 damage, it's fine. So that's what I have so far. And if I turn this off, there we go. Now it's me again. So that's what I could come up with. I hope it helps. I'm sorry it's not perfect, but I don't have time.
But as far as a, I mentioned, I think, Wednesday's show, but basically my sort of quick takeaway message for everybody was build, generally build 4 of each type, build 3 mid-range, 1 short range for your bubble pad, or with the Vulture, maybe keep them back in your main island. And the 1 second, my TV came off of mute. All right, and but the Howie and the XP seem to outperform the rest of them. Is that generally what you saw? Except for maybe the radioactive, the phylogistons, as far as short range, seem to outperform the. I can't remember what's the mid range radioactive.
The pyroclastic launcher.
Yeah. And the other thing that we still haven't seen is CTO Co3, which makes a lot of the hulls more vulnerable to corrosive and concussive.
Yep.
Yeah.
That we expect. I would have thought again in Bounty, wouldn't it? With a tier 8 defender.
Yeah, and I would suggest I'm building 4 different damage types and leaving the rest for countermeasures and utility. Like I still have a glacial launcher and a bunch of elite countermeasures in there.
Mm-hmm.
When you're building,
how many elites? Because right now we have. Once you get to Portal 3, Level 3, now you have a bunch more turrets. Because now you can put 2 tier 7s on them. And now you have 6, 24, now you have 30 turret spots.
I have 4 groups of 4, some number that are spare. I forget how many. A glacial, 4 elite countermeasures, and the ones on my portals right now are just filler. So they can be replaced and they might become a 5th damage type. If you're going to go with 4 damage types, though, I would recommend that you pick 4 such that you need 3 different pairings to stop them. Like ballistic and missile is a pairing, and explosive and radio is a pairing, and concussive and corrosive is a pairing. Like I have concussive, corrosive, ballistic, and I'm going to change to explosive, so that you can't just put 2 sets of armor on or have 2 of the countermeasure types on and be good against everything in a base.
Yeah, and then there's the other, there's the ones, like the other one that I really like is the Cold Snap 2, because it has the secondary impact of shutting down the EMP blasts. So that's another one that's I would put in your high priority list. So, and we have the ability to get 6, once everything's done, we have the ability to get 7 damage types plus 2 utilities up to, out there.
Except there's only 6 damage types. So
I know, but that's what I'm saying. You're only going with 4. That's what I'm saying. We have the ability to go to 7. So I'm saying we do have a lot of available turret slots. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the other thing though, I'm gonna tell you right now, we can debate all this all we want, but we got raid coming up and we'll have a bounty coming up in a month. And I'm almost gonna lay odds 10-1 we're gonna see the first of the tier 8 turrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably in bounty. I'm waiting for the first tier 8 defender. I want to see what that does.
Yeah. And as far as how people are actually changing their defenders, I mean, I know a lot of people are going to jump out and put the Breacher Dreadnought in as a defender. It was even suggested by one of the GDs in the Discord chat, which I was like, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. It's like, what the fuck are the defenders for if we're going to recommend Conquerors go in these spots?
I think it's because this particular one gets massive bonuses if it's not moving.
Yeah. It struck me more as a defender than a Conqueror, but it works really well as a Conqueror if you got it built right.
And it's got such huge damage bonuses on it, especially with the specials and all that. And the opponent doesn't have 50% turret defense against this. So I'll punch it right back. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. It just seems like if they're doing this for a Conqueror, what are they, I was agreeing. What are they going to do for the defender?
Well, I'll tell you one thing they need to do for the damn Defenders is they need to put a damn engine on the damn things. It don't have to be fast, but at least let the damn things move.
Hang on. Are you saying, right, that the attacking holes have to stop and then the defending holes have to drive to get the bonus?
We've got a patrol range for a reason.
Yeah. So suddenly the defender holes have to drive to reach their bonus.
Yeah, the defender hole has a bonus.
It never makes sense to me. You know, I can see defender holes being slower. You know what I mean? Give it a combat speed of 5 or 10, something, you know, but at least let the damn thing move. The fact that they made it to where they couldn't move at all just made them another glorified turret in the base.
Yeah. Oh, agreed.
And I mean, with how weird and, you know, probably buggy patrol ranges, just as a general thing, I think that if you're going to go and try to incorporate that in your defense, I think you should get some sort of bonus for that. It's another interesting choice. And in one sense, it's predictable because you just go to a spot and then back and forth or whatever the heck it's actually supposed to do. But to do that, exposing yourself in a different way, you should get a bonus for that.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying it don't even have to be for the patrol range. You just simply give them an engine so they can move a little bit, so that if you're sitting there watching the battle and you got some guy that just stops outside your ship's range to snipe it, you know, or comes in at that right angle where you got the same range and they got the same range, but they've got the right angle, so they've got longer range than you because of the oval, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Then you should be able to at least make that ship inch towards them.
Yeah,
It's a ship. It should move.
Yeah.
And Brian gave me the the title of the Wednesday show, Battle Pirates Crib, exposing yourself in a different way.
Oh, glad to be of service.
Yeah, all good.
I'm a valuable member of the community.
All good. Yeah, so we've the refactor. I'm just frustrated with how much they piled right on top.
Yeah, you can definitely say this was a week of content overload.
Yeah, well, they're telling them we're not getting content overload, and they're not around to really pay attention to what's going on because it's a long holiday weekend. I mean, I guess they're hoping that we hash it all out before they come back, but the timing is just.
I don't think it was so much content overload, more input overload, just trying to understand everything.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, new shit.
Yeah. Rum's asking how much are the refit tokens really worth. They run through, I think they're valid through December 2nd. They take a lot of resources in order to get them to be useful. Both advanced and normal resources.
And I don't think they got the balance on the defender tokens right.
Like how many you got awarded?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think they took into account. I don't think they took into account the longer build time that's required for defender holes.
But you're not building; you're refitting.
Exactly.
But I understand that, okay. But see, you know, I'm sitting there with almost 20 defender holes because I built every single defender that's come out, and then I was sitting there with close to 20 conqueror holes, and I got 80 wait, tokens, and I got 15 defender tokens.
Did you? Because I have 5 tier 7 defenders, and I think I got 38.
Yeah. Nope, I only got 15, and I built every tier 7 defender out, including all the flagships.
I've still got 14 left. I've still got 80 of the 7-day conqueror ones left.
But did you finish building them, Dark Death, or did they just like halls?
No, they're full builds.
And you have how many of them?
I think I got 15 of them.
Okay, I have 5. Yeah, there's something off there with somebody's math. Because, I have 5 of them, and I have, like, 38 days.
Because I've got all the sirens. I've got all the mort chuckers, including the flagship. I don't think the behemoths are tier 7, are they?
No.
No.
So my calculations may have been off.
The Goliaths? Or the behemoths? I'm just wondering how you got to 20. Or
I'm not.
15 or
I don't
20.
have that many. I was adding tier 6 and tier 7.
Okay.
But I've built every tier 7 defender that's come out, including both sirens, and they only gave me 15 tokens.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
But then they turned around and gave me 88 Conqueror tokens. So
That's good. That's good.
yeah, I'm not gonna be able to use them all.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to use them all. I mean, but it allows you the ability to, because once you start refitting, not building, because it's yes, it has a 5 or 6 day build time,
Do it soon.
as opposed to a 15 to now. That's a whole different issue. The fact that they're increasing the cost to build, the time to build conquerors at tier 8 as opposed to tier 7, as opposed to keeping the top tier as the time limiting one and reducing everything else, because I think tier 8 is like 22 hours for a blank call, as opposed to, what was it, 16 or 18 before. They keep on pushing stuff up, and so which is a big problem that they found a sweet spot years ago, and they keep on trying to increase it, and they just keep on driving players away with that. I don't understand why they don't, like, okay, this is the maximum hull build time for this class and this whatever, for turrets, for whatever. We're going to say this is the maximum, but then they try to keep on creeping it up, and I really dislike that personally.
We don't get more time as years go by. Like, that's not how time works.
Yeah. Well, except for that leap year, and then there's an adjustment that goes on, but it's like a couple of seconds.
Oh yeah, like 1 second every year. Yeah, that's 6 hours though.
Yes. Yeah, not 6 hours every week. So yeah. There's.
I think the irony of it is there's 7 day build tokens. Now, if it only took 7 days to build a ship, I think most people would be happy with that.
Oh yeah. Not though.
Well, people used to be upset when they increased the build time in the floating fortress. People were all upset because you used to be able to get like a full build in like 3 days, but that's old news.
I want to throw my 2 cents since we're still talking about refactor. I'd like to throw my 2 cents about one thing.
Yep.
If conquerors and defenders run hand in hand, they're all PvP, right?
Yep.
So why the hell are we locking the weapons for the tier 8 onto conqueror only?
Yeah. That is.
I imagine so. Some of the defender holes, I think, gained a damage bonus of their respective types, and I think that maybe there's going to be things with different effects. Like if a defender hull had a higher percentage damage bonus than a conqueror hull, like there could just be straight up defender hulls, but there could also be like, this defender hull is meant to take out ships and punch you in the mouth. And if that thing with that high damage bonus got hold of a super strong conqueror weapon, that might be a problem. Or they would just tweak the I don't know, the building damage on it or something.
Well, but see, that was stuff that was supposed to be fixed during the refactor. Remember, we're talking about tier 7. We don't have any tier 8 defenders yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking going forward, like what would they do? Why is this the case?
Why is it the case is the same path that we've been seeing, and they're locking it down. And I would guarantee if this game lasts a year, within a year, we're going to see this happen to where you're going to be locked to where you get a ship, and you're only going to be able to put the weapon in special that they give you for that ship, because that's the path we're going down.
You going in?
Yeah, no out the box thinking, So you can't come up with creative builds, but we know that if they allowed you to put those weapons on the tier 7, people wouldn't be looking for the new tier 8.
Well, no, because you would only be able to throw 1 or 2 on a tier 7 hull because of their weight. Yeah. See, they already had the problem solved. There was no reason to lock it off the defender holes.
Yeah, good point, that one.
I think this is just more of the path they've been going down for the last couple years, where they keep restricting us more and more. I mean, come on, we got specials and weapons now for flagships only, and only one flagship.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you, I find it. You know, you're trying to do the refits. It's so frustrating when you're looking for the specials, change the specials, and they go, "This can't go on this class. This can't go on that," and it's like, it takes you ages sorting through all those bloody specials, doesn't it? You know what I mean? When you're looking for stuff like
well, that's
that.
where they need to go back to like Hefe's idea and come up with a much better system for us being able to get through all the freaking ship in the shipyard.
Yeah, like why can't I search by stats? I kept trying to look through to find out how to just how to get the right ballistic specials to put on the hull, and I forgot about the most recent one because, you know, what the heck, why would I? Why can't I just type, you know, the game will know I have a Conqueror hull up, and I type in ballistic. Why can't I just get anything that has a stat that includes the word ballistic that is, you know, for a Conqueror hull, or for, you know, that is not banned from a Conqueror hull, and just have all that? That's like 10 or 12 specials, but at least I can see it instead of scrolling back and forth every time.
All right, but there shouldn't. What I'm saying is there should not. This. The more they restrict us, the more it is becoming. I mean, come on. We all enjoyed all of us on this have enjoyed the game, you know, because we could think out of the box. We could come up with our own builds. You know, we could spend time with our friends going over builds and strategies and numbers and stuff. And they're doing away with that because, I mean, it's getting to the point where eventually it's going to be, okay, raid's coming out, you got X ship, and you can put Y gun on it with X special, and that's it, because nothing else is allowed.
And the thing is, like, they'll offer some there's escalation, or they outright fucking lie to you and say there's no escalation and then give you escalation in the first raid of the cycle. You know, like just now, maybe. I think they're getting the point. And then it's not even a contest. It's like, oh, this thing I won not even a month ago that I haven't finished putting all of my Legion rockets, whatever the normal version is, on my ships. Well, now I have the nailhead rocket, so I take those off and put those on. It's like there's not even a sense of attachment. There's not really even a sense of mastery. It's like, well, these numbers are better. And that happens in a lot of games. It's not that it's inherently a bad thing. It's that there's no time to actually feel like you did something great. Like, I just grabbed my Vindicators today, but for how many months? Those Vindicators did tons of work. They were amazing for months and months, if not years. And you can say that that's the same now where they have the yearly cycle, but my Buccaneers didn't do shit.
Well, and theoretically, they tell us that a fleet's meant to last, it was meant to be a year, okay? You know? I think they said at one stage I heard it was going to be about a year. Ideally. But during the course...
Those people are gone, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but during the course of that year, you might have to refit that fleet 3 times to actually...
Oh, come on! I've refit my dragons more than 3 times.
Yeah, that's one thing I think when you have to refit when you get better tech, and that sort of makes sense as you get more adept at fighting an enemy. You get better stuff. You know, if there wasn't better stuff, then what the heck's the point? What are you going to build for the last month of the cycle? But when they fucking drop the Proto Apollo on us a month after we finished with the Manticore cycle, fuck you and all that you stand for. Like, come on, guys. Really?
I'm not building that out of just...
Yeah, no, I have the one bear one that they gave me, and that's it. I might scrap that out of spite, because it's meant for one target. And yeah, it's supposed to do better in the current...
Which target is that?
The SSRB.
No, there is no SSRB.
Yeah, what's the SSRB apparently?
The SSRBs you can't even hit right now.
The SSRB that apparently is going to come out.
But there is no assault SSRB
yet.
Well, if there is going to be one, we don't know that. We haven't heard them, because normally the way that they would do this historically is they would put the SSRB out at the same time or beforehand to force people to coin it, right? So they could hit that target, explore, do whatever. They haven't released it yet. It's been out for a month, right? Is it going to come out? Because they lost their chance to get the big.
It's called supply and demand, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah.
No. See, that's the whole point. That's
you
where
put that out there.
They drop the hole on us, and then a week later they drop the target because they know they're going to force players who want to hit the target to coin their fleet.
Yeah, but they haven't done it. No one's coined a, sensible people haven't coined the Protos, like what was it?
Because there's no target for them to coin it for.
That's it. So
there's titanium targets out on the map right now, and that's about it. Are they still nuking the Katie's and the current titanium targets on the map? Are they not going for the drones on the map? Are they going for the Katie's? Because if so, then
I couldn't tell you on that. I don't have a Katie's, so I missed out on that one.
I've heard from a couple people that that's been happening. That it's not targeting the drones for some reason, but it's targeting the Katie's itself.
Yeah,
but that's been in the in this raid. I don't know if that applies to any of the map targets.
But on the map because you can't use the Katie's in this raid.
I've heard you can, but you're going to take a lot of damage.
No, you can't. You can't use.
Oh, you can't use it.
It is tier 7 assault only.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard
it's been locked out of the targets. So yeah.
Very specific.
Since the refactor that the drones, they're not targeting the drones on the Katie's.
Yeah, so like if that continues to go on, then that could force the Katie's owners to build Protos. Or the Katie's owners could just not in protest because they're pissed, and they probably should be. They spent all that time getting all those shards and building the dang hull, and now it's shit.
Yeah, but you can use Mantis to get titanium all day long. You can instant repair off of 68 blitz targets.
Okay. Yeah, I just do the expeditions because I've been hating all those targets for a long time. Both.
At 16,000, I mean, you got it. You hit 2 and you got 32 instead of 30 for 1, and you can blind auto it for instant repair. So,
okay, I'll keep that in mind. Which the missiles or the scatter?
I've got the missile fleet.
Okay.
I'll still do the 85 for Skyfighters and then stick them on repair. Long repair.
Yeah, but those are going away, aren't they?
Probably, yeah. But I've got 2 Mandy fleets, so if I have to fall back on that, I've got that option. But at the moment, that's the quickest way to do it. Yeah.
So,
well, when are they going? Do we know when they go? Will it be in January?
I think they were probably already scheduled to disappear, but some of these targets they have a hard time working in. Like it was the siege targets, right, where they brought them in and they killed everything on. It would just melt everything, and then it was like over a month until they came back. By schedule, I think they should already be there. But yeah, who knows?
To be honest, I figured these targets would have been gone by last update.
Yeah, but I
think they would have. But I think the only reason they didn't get pulled last update was because last update was the refactor update.
Yeah.
Yeah, or because they look at what people have and what they don't have, and it would actually probably, like Brian said and I said, it probably helps the player base if you don't build the Proto Apollos, because they realize that nobody has them. We're not going to build anything for them. And I think that's the way it works. Because I consider it an aberration that we keep on having, as Brian already talked about, that, we just built 2 sets of hulls for assault fleet. Now you're giving us another one with 80 days of build time. Freaking ridiculous. I mean, why? There's no reason to it. There's no new target. Even if there is a new target, why is this happening? I mean, It's like it's outside of it crushes everybody's.
If they could go in and do an SSRB the same way that a bat ray fleet can do it, I mean, yeah, then I can understand a lot of people wanting to build it.
Wasn't meant for that.
No,
it's the prototype seeker that was meant for that, and the prototype seeker, unless you have a hunter in there, a fleet of hunters in there,
but it's going
to take 3 hours of damage to do that.
That would relieve the chores that people have to do. And at least they might build
what
the
I'm
fleets.
saying is the stuff they're building for the SSRBs isn't really the best stuff. It's the next level. Unless you built Razer Tails, and then it's a sad story.
If you got Razer Tails, you don't want to go in an SSRB.
No. So it's
another reason they might have left the targets is since the refactor update, have you noticed everything that used to cost uranium to upgrade is now titanium?
Yeah, doesn't make me happy.
No.
And they do have the deal for 100,000 uranium for 10 gold. It's not a bad idea if you really hate gathering titanium. I haven't done it, but doesn't make me happy.
Yeah.
So
do we know why they made that change?
Probably because uranium was so easily accessible now.
Yep.
Or the fact that when they started doing this stuff, titanium really wasn't a thing. Once they started doing these series of upgrades into your base, because uranium was to be upgrading your base, titanium was to be upgrading your ships. And they're dividing them now as far as currency. I wish they would hire an economist. That would be cool. I mean, as far as they keep on doing things that don't make a lot of sense. I'm not an economist. Brian's not an economist. I know. I don't think Ben is. I know Dr. Death's not. Watchman, are you an economist?
No.
Okay, just making sure, because we keep on. It's like a weird inflation thing that's going on here, because we keep on seeing increases in the cost of everything, but the base gathering, the farming, the Farmville type stuff that we have to do with hitting cargoes or whatnot, the value of those crops have not gone up.
I think two of the biggest major complaints that the player base has had has been repair costs and chores. And so when we find a fleet that can do the chores really fast, or can get the res that we need, particular res, it's great because it saves us so much time, and then maybe we can play the game.
Well, they've gone the opposite direction though, haven't they? Because now they've made everything for building in your base and on ships titanium based, which is the hardest resource to gather and the longest time consuming one. And then on top of that, they've reduced the amount of resources that the targets pay out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as far as like the cargoes or salvages, whatever you call them at this point, just the basic resource that they pay out hasn't changed in about 7 years.
No, I agree that definitely needs an update. But what I'm saying is that our primary targets, you used to go out and hit. I can remember taking out my ironclads and that other fleet. What was it? Cannoneers out and hitting just base part targets and coming home with 500% resources every hit.
Yeah.
And now you some of the targets you don't even get enough to even get 1%.
Okay. Well, they did try to work on that a little bit. They took a baby step in the last week when they increased the cargo capacity of the Tier 7 skirmish hulls, the Razer Tail and the Bat Ray, from 1.425 million to 6 million. They did that recently.
Right, but if the targets don't pay any resources, if you hit a target, you don't even get enough to get 1%.
The skirmish ones do. So, yeah, that was a change that was overdue for several years and made no sense in any capacity. Since like it made sense for subs because you had to run light so that they could submerge properly and not fuck up. But there's no subs anymore. So
everything in this game makes sense as far as physics go. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, yes, but that's going to be their reason, and they don't fucking have it anymore. They're lazy as fuck, and they copy pasted, and they were wrong, and now they stopped doing that. Thank you. Thank you for giving a fuck, Kicksai. Long enough.
No, I think there's a good thing, and I used to work as a consultant for the Department of Energy that they developed the nuclear weapons, and there was something called the, one of the big sites is in Western Washington State, and everybody was afraid to do anything. It was called the Hanford Complex because they didn't know what they were supposed to be doing anymore, and everybody was so afraid to do anything that there were just regulations got put on top of regulations because people did some, who wants to work on those sites, right? And so people started, people would, they would hire people that had no right doing this. They were sticking their hands in high-level waste, and doing all sorts of just craziness. And so they put all these regulations. You can't do this. You can't do that. And so it created this situation where nobody could do anything. And I'm just wondering if that's what's going on, because they don't know why these things are in existence. Like why is the golden rule 10 VXP if you hit a target and 10 VXP if you die on the target? How does this change the economy in some way? What is the reason for that? And because they don't know, they weren't there at that point in time because they keep on firing all the GDs, right?
Well, I think the 10 VXP on the res targets on the map is so that everyone's forced to spend money at VXP weekend.
Yeah, they still haven't updated in they haven't updated in 40 or 50 years.
I can understand that.
In reality, it's only 7 or 8 years. But yeah,
I can understand that, but they don't give out a lot of VXP, but they need to give out a lot more res, resources.
Yeah.
So
the 10 VXP, I mean, back in the day, you'd get to 1 star and you were done. And even then, those ships had fewer VXP. Like even now, within the year, or I guess as years go on, each ship costs more and more VXP than the prior one did. Like the Manacle cost 95,000 versus other ships even in the same year costing 75,000 to Skull. And when you combine that with it keeps increasing with all that VXP and VXP weekend and 75 rank now as opposed to 25 back then. Like it just hasn't been looked at and nobody even cares. Like some of these things need to be brought back in line because they're the most basic ways of starting the game. You give someone a fleet of hunters or whatever that take 50,000 to Skull. That's 5,000 cargoes. Their entry point into the game has already blown well past what the beginning stuff is tuned for, both in terms of resources to build and in terms of VXP to rank.
Well, the targets that we hit are balanced. I use that word loosely. Balanced on you having a 75% rank fleet attacking those targets. When it comes to raids and like TLCs and whatever they're throwing at us, if you go in there with an unranked fleet, you're cannon fodder.
Yeah, and that's another reason to boost it up, because outside of 1 weekend a month, sometimes 2, usually 1, everything gives you shit VXP. It's basically irrelevant. There's no point of even doing these. But if you come in at the wrong week and you're given, a 50% ranked set of hunters, you're going to die even in raid targets where hunters are quote unquote recommended. And that's not because, well, in a sense it is because Kix is bad at balancing, but that has to do with new player experience in this example. But when you do that and you're just doomed to fail in every target, you're going to give up and quit. So they've lost another customer, another newer returning player. It's not as simple, I think, as multiply 10 VXP by 100 so you get 1,000, or multiply the resources by 100 so you get 100 million, although that probably would be nice, maybe times 50 or whatever. Just introduce a level that is attainable through grinding, but it's not something that people want to do. It's something that they would rather coin to get past rather than give them something that they would just give up and quit rather than do. And they'd have to adjust the cargoes for this as well, because you can walk the cargoes for no damage at all. So they might have to redo those. But if they made the cargoes, which are the base targets for a lot of players, made it a lot more feasible for them to hit them and get into the game, I think that would be good. They might need to do this with some of the lower FM targets too, depending.
I think that's a great idea, Brian. You know, I think they should up the VXP on the map targets. I think they should up the VXP on the map targets, because not everyone coins, not everyone can spend, but we need the players in the game. Now, me, personally, I put a triple salty on and have a grease monkey crew in my base, and I'll get them that fleet ranked that I've just won in the last raid in the first week. Yeah, you know, get as many blank holes out there as I can and get it done. And I accept that, you know, because then I know, because I want that I want that 400% reload bonus. I want that, you know, damage percentage on my fleet.
Well, yeah, we've been trained to be that way, but see, that exactly is why they're not going to ever change BXP.
Well,
because of the fact that people like me and you, we get our blank holes out, we suicide, we coin.
But that's what I'm saying,
even if they
that is an issue as far as
even if they put more VXP on the base, the map targets, yeah, I still wouldn't be out there grinding that. Okay,
yeah.
I'd still do it the same way. So this just gives other people that are more free players or very low level coins, whatever. It does give them the option to get there eventually.
But you
if they want to put the seat time in.
Yeah, and you spend coin, and that's your reward. You get it done.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you, Brian. I'm laughing at you know, the YouTube chat. It starts with Candy Apple, probably cheaper than repairs on VXP Weekend. So true. From John Clevis. Candy, are you naked? Yes, John, and I'm a guy. LOL. And then it's like, you know, what's going on? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Increasing VXP, it needs to be set at a proper amount where it still has to feel bad for the people that have to go and grind and get it, because otherwise everyone would just be going out there and farming salvages.
I think there should always be a grind option.
Yeah, feasible, but
this isn't a good
it has to suck a little bit. Otherwise, no one's going to coin.
This is. I think I ran the numbers a while ago, and I can't remember if they're true. Originally, when we had Seawolves to rank up on salvage targets, I think it was like. Does anybody remember that show? It was like 200 and something, 250 targets in order to get it to 25%, which was the, you know, the maximum that you could achieve at that point in time. And then I think I put the Rise Inferno Dragon as the next example. As opposed to 250 targets, I think it was 9,250 targets in order to skull that target, based on hitting, cargo salvages, whatnot. And that was assuming that you didn't have enough armor that you were getting, 10,000, which does happen with that target. I mean, it's something that's so backwards. It hasn't been updated that it's
if they put
silly.
it now, FA, that you had to hit 250 or 500 map targets to get a ship or a fleet ranked,
So to star a Seawolf, is about 1550 XP. I'm at 1564 and have a little over a star on my Seawolf. That's how much I like Seawolves.
It broke my heart when I scrapped my Seawolves. But I needed space at the time, you know. But yeah, what I'm saying is if you put it out and say, all right, you've got to hit 500 map targets to get a fleet ranked, then people that have got seat time or want to grind, they could do it, and they could probably have it done before a raid, you know, a couple of months down the line at the end of the day, and they could have it done for the next set and get the next toys. But if they had the time, for the people that do spend money, obviously that's always been, if you spend money, you get the toys first. That's always been the way, you know. But it still needs players to be able to get in the last month, in the final raid, to have a fully ranked fleet, to be able to get there and win the next hull, to be able to do the next level, the next series of raid targets, you know. So there needs to be a path that's open to everybody.
Yeah, and for me as a non-coiner, on VXP weekend the 1st, I can usually get these things to about 64, 66 ish. It depends on how many weapons they have on and what's driving and all of that. And I accept that. Like, that's what I get. And the second time out, they're usually skulled. Sometimes there's TLCs with VXP tokens in there, which is always appreciated. You kind of just have to realize that if you don't coin, like, it's going to be a grind. It's going to suck. You're not going to get everything perfect right away, but that's the point.
And do you have to step down a tier as well when you're hitting? Are you stepping down to 80s instead of going for the top tier?
No, I've been hitting sets the whole time, and I've been getting a little more repair than other people have.
Yeah.
But in the first raid, my ships weren't perfect, and from then on, I just haven't looked at vids and probably suck a little bit at this particular raid cycle. But I'm still able to get everything that I want. I just have to set my priorities and expectations a little differently. Sometimes I can't get, the new ship and everything that goes with it, and all the tokens, and these 3 or 4 turrets I want. So I put the turrets on the shelf and think maybe later, or I put some of the tokens on the shelf and think, well, this TLC is going to run, or maybe I'm going to do this differently or that differently, and see how it works. You can't get it perfect, but you can get it close enough to matter.
I just love how they change stuff.
Not quite hearing you there, Steph.
I don't think that's Dr. Death. I think that's someone else.
There was some deep voice and then someone singing in the background. Yeah.
I think, yeah. I do. He just muted himself. Either he put his headset down and or whatever. Yeah.
Since the refactor, I have a ally member that just started playing, and these low-level campaigns that you do for the starter campaigns. Like, what is?
Long since forgotten, and hope to God there aren't any Conqueror campaigns in there now, by the way, because your shit got changed with the refactor. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
What?
I'm pulling up my campaign list real quick.
Yeah, down the barrel and whatever the hell else.
Like down the barrel. He can't even do them because he can't kill the guns because of deflection. He's tried pinning 111s, and I watched him literally an hour and a half to kill one pin because of the deflections again.
And for those, I think the very first few, especially ones that have turrets, because I know people have been complaining that the Mega Mayhem TLC, they're having issues with that. They can't beat it because probably somewhere the turret deflections from PvP got slipped into that one, and now we're all screwed, etc. For those first few, you should be given a fleet. Like they'll give you, I don't know, the Athos, Porthos, and the other musketeer. Like you get those and you fight, and you're told, ideally, you're told out the gate that this is very different. You're not going to keep this fleet. This is just so you can beat this combat. It's like a lot of other games, they'll give you pre-built loadouts for the tutorial or some advanced maneuvers that you will then lose and have to re-earn over the course of the game because they're not meant to be used by the player at that point in time. That needs to happen because every year they invalidate the tech of basically every year except the most current year and probably the most past year as well.
Yeah.
So
Except for the icebreaker.
Yeah, the basic year that the player gets is dog shit. Everything you can build in the naval lab sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
The foundry was dead and they need to bring that back, or they need to put like the icebreaker, Zelos and Monos. Those need to be in the naval lab, and the naval lab should be updated. With I don't even care. Give them hunters, give them Apollos. I know the foundry is supposed to do that. Well, whatever's next up from Apollos, which I guess is Phoenixes. Like, even if you give them the quote unquote worst hull of the two in a raid cycle, just let them have it. Let them, and obviously chop the build time massively on every component associated with it, but just give them the tech to build 2 years ago's assault hull and siege hull and garrison hull and skirmish hull. And then
they have done that, but you need to have Shipyard 6.
For the weight.
Yeah, I mean,
no, for the expert build. That's the fucked up part about it.
The shipyard. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think new players
makes
really
so little sense.
They need to start them at Shipyard 6 now. If you join, you almost need. I think we've been playing this game for like 7 years or whatever, yeah. And the point is, anyone starting now has got so much to go through. A new starter really needs to start at a lot higher level, to get anywhere in it.
Level 10 warehouses and a level 12 dock or whatever, because the costs have increased so much. I feel like they might have flattened out a little bit now, but where are you going to find 80 million of each res as a new player to build the hulls I just described? You can't. It's impossible.
I don't think you could start players at level 1, 2, level 5 or whatever now. I think they need to come in at almost a higher level because you can't hit anyone till level 80 anyway. But they need to come in at a higher level and have to be able to hold the fleets that they need to be able to hit the stuff that's out there currently. Even to compete with anything.
Yeah, what garrison target are they going to hit to start their FM to get the everything else?
Because it's still going to take them quite a few months to get up and running properly, even if they come in, at a level 50 with, a tier 6 op and all the other, their dock and their other shipyards up at a higher level, so they could hold the weight of the ships that they need to be able to run at that level. But that's I think that's the level they need to come in at.
Yeah, there needs to be a floor. Like all that stuff you're saying, sure. And then just 20 blank level 6 turrets, level 7 turrets.
Yeah.
There's so much tech in the game and so much of it you need so much of it to be relevant. I guess we could forego the turrets in some sense because you can't really hit people to level 80 and it's 5 up, 5 down.
Or rebalance everything so level 1 is now level 6 and make level 10 level 4. I mean, really,
if you want to get new players in the game, they've got to hit the ground running to some extent. They've got to be able to get out there and do stuff.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying
because everyone is so far. Most of the rest of us are so far ahead of them that it's like for them to try and get anywhere close. It's daunting.
Yeah, with how they were upgrading the turret armors and probably deflections by that point in time, just of the turrets, to say nothing of the outpost and things like that, you could probably just start players with level 7 turrets.
Yeah.
And all that sort of stuff. Just chop off the first 6, 7, 8 levels of everything.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know what I mean? Because that way it brings, because they keep saying, would you recommend the game to a friend? And no, because if someone was starting from scratch, it's almost impossible to do that.
Well, another thing, they broke the low levels from hitting bases because they can't kill the turrets.
They probably still can't now.
No, they can't. Before they could, but now they cannot.
Oh, of course, because that rebalancing or the refactoring has affects the lower levels as well, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I hadn't thought about that, yeah. I hadn't thought about that, yeah.
I mean, I watched him hit a base. Yeah, it's Diplo mortars. We know how they suck. But for a level 24 base, it can't even kill a level 1 turret.
Okay.
Hey, I've got a level 8 ult. He might become relevant again.
Yeah. All right. I was thinking we could. Is there any parting words that anybody has? We've been going for an hour and a half. Is there anything that I know we put a lot of content out there as far as things for people to listen to and whatnot. But is there anything else that parting words on anything? Because I know people want to join the show, but they're afraid that they're not going to be as sexy as Two Doors, and so it creates a huge expectation amongst the the YouTube base as far as how do I get to that level? How do I have 2 doors? I only have 1 door. Can you explain, Brian, as far as what are your parting words on this whole thing?
Long range turrets are garbage. Don't build them.
Yeah.
Diversify your damage types. And the best defender is now a conqueror again. At least until we get the best defender.
Yeah, which may happen quite soon. We don't know, but yeah, it sounds like sage advice. Sage is a good thing to put in. Your gravy for turkey.
Spice up your meat.
Thanksgiving. Yeah. And it smells. If you're a hippie, you dry it out, you burn it. Covers up the smell of the weed. But yeah, yeah. Dr. Death, Ben, Watchman, anything else to say?
No, just wish everybody good night.
Okay.
Have fun, be safe, everyone. Enjoy your bacon from Kickside.
Yeah, just ride it through. We're all we're all seeing the downside of Refactor at the moment, but just ride it through, and in the end, hopefully it balances itself out. And good night, everyone.
One more thing. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ben.
If you're finding bugs in the game, such as the low levels not being able to attack stuff, or the issue with the Mega Mayhem and that, please submit a ticket, post it on forums, post it on Discord. It's the only way they'll even consider looking at it.
Yeah. I would like to add on to that because I've talked to Kickside Erin. She's the QA person, and she's on Discord, and she loves seeing what people have to say as far as issues with the game and whatnot. And so if you see issues in the game, post them in Discord under bug reports. She will look at them. She's been really good as far as figuring this shit out. Not that the game is fixed, but she has been, from what I've seen, she's figured a lot of the stuff out, and she's the stacking issue, got that taken care of with her. I've gotten several issues where I mention it to her and I show her what the issue is, and then it's fixed in the game. It's but the best way to contact her is through bug reports in Discord. As far don't overload her with other stuff, but she's the QA champion of the community. So
and keep it respectable.
Yeah. She's and she's Australian, so she's she may not be up when you are, but she does a really good job. I appreciate what she does. So all right, are we ready to end the show for the night? All right, folks. I will. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. And have a great time. I mean, I'm hoping everybody's still having a good time in the game, but I understand if you're not. So, but have a good night.
Not everyone.
Not everyone.
Night.
Later, people.